Hello, hello, hello. We'll wait for some folks to join. Are we live right now? Facebook? Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys for watching. We do have some wonderful people in attendance here today, but we're all about the beautiful bald eagles out here in Schoharie County. Thank you guys for watching the virtual launch of the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. My name is Brian Cody. I am with Morning Show on WGNA. It's an awesome thing for us to be out here. A lot of great WGNA listeners out here in Schoharie County, which is just beautiful. It's picturesque. It's a great day. And this is a really awesome thing for not just Schoharie County, but the entire capital region. Bird watching, anything that people can do with nature to enjoy what amazing things we have here in the capital region and out in Schoharie County. Anytime that we can promote it, anytime that we can get you all engaged, come out here and see it and tell you about it. It's just an awesome thing to do. And we have some great guests, and we're going to introduce you to some people who made this all happen. We are at Sterling Insurance out here. Beautiful Colville scale. You could see over my shoulders. We've got some of the mountains and the awesome landscape. And when we tell you what you're going to be able to zoom in on and see and experience firsthand, it's going to make you want to come out here and check out this incredible Eagle Trail. Eagles are booming. They're soaring out here. So again, we welcome you to the live virtual launch here on Facebook. And let's begin by introducing you all to some guests that were able to make this happen. I'll first bring in Julie Piketty. She is the executive director of the Schoharie Economic Enterprise. And it's great to see you. And we're excited to get a couple of words from Julie Piketty. So Julie Piketty, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. I'm not alone today. There's a great lineup here to talk about the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. We are at Sterling Insurance, and I'd like to introduce the CEO of Sterling Insurance and one of the founders of the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. This was really one of his ideas that inspired this program. Steve Harris.
Thank you, Julie. Well, welcome. We're really, on behalf of the Schoharie Economic Enterprise Corporation, we're really delighted to bring you this program this morning. I think you're going to enjoy it. You know, there's a national fascination with these eagles, and Schoharie County is well placed to showcase them. So if you're cooped up with COVID and you want to get outdoors and have a great day, come on out to Schoharie County. As Brian said, it's only 45 minutes from the capital region, 3 hours from Manhattan. And you're going to see some gorgeous countryside, some of the nicest land on God's green earth, beautiful back roads and bypasses. And go to our website. You can get a map of the trail. It's seagletrail.com. And while you're there, we'd love it if you would become a friend of the Eagle Trail. We're asking for a mere $10. But we have more locations that we want to add to the map. And we need a following, and we want to keep this initiative going. So come on out to Schoharie County, and I think it's a great way to spend the day. We have some great little shops and restaurants that you can enjoy along the way, and I think you'll enjoy it. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Environmental Conservation Officer Burgess, and she'll tell you a little bit more about these magnificent animals.
Thank you. I'm Officer Burgess for the DEC, and I work in Schoharie County. I've been here for about 2 years. One of the biggest issues we see with eagles is actually human interaction, whether people are getting too close to nests and disturbing them, trying to get a better view, or one of the biggest issues we face is lead poisoning, whether it's from lead from animals that are being discarded or from hunters and whatnot. So we work with our local rehabbers, we work with the public whenever there's a downed eagle to get them the resources that they need. We also do enforcement as well. Unfortunately, too many times in my career, I've seen that eagles have been target of malicious acts. So we investigate those. We work with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to further these investigations and get justice for these birds. Just last year, one of our own resident birds was shot by an unknown perp this time. If there's any issues that you see or anything like that, please contact our department, and we're going full investigation on these things. They're magnificent birds, and we are so fortunate to have them in our county, and it's an abundant resource for everyone to enjoy. So please, come on out, visit the birds, but view them from a safe distance and give them the respect and space that they need. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of wonderful images from our next speaker, Bill Combs, who is the Eagle Man. Bill.
All right, Bill.
Thank you, Officer Burgess. And yes, we are going to learn a lot about the Eagles, and I think the landscape as well from Bill Combs Jr. And I'm delighted to meet you, Bill. Yeah, let me come in here a little bit. I'm really delighted to meet you. I mean, you're just incredibly credentialed. I was going over your 20 things with Christy Gustafson Barletti from the Times Union. You're the guy that, like, I think deep down I wish I somehow became, but never did. So as a result, I watch a lot of, BBC wildlife documentaries, and I just have become fascinated by wildlife. But to have you here, somebody who you spent so much time in nature, but specifically observing these bald eagles, and I can only imagine the stories that you would love to share with people, and the experiences that you've had with these birds is second to none. So thank you for being a part of this, and we're excited to launch this today.
Well, thank you very much for coming out. One of the things is that these Cobble-Skill eagles, I call them, and I think you have some names later on you're going to announce, because I'm going to do a book with my wife about the Cobble-Skill eagles, a photo story and a book, and I didn't want to go through the whole book calling the male eagle W7. So we had to come up with some names, and his story is quite unique, and I'll do it real quick. W7 was banded in a tree in Massachusetts in a large cottonwood tree on the Connecticut River in May of 2013. In September of 2013, he is reported being in Cortland, Ohio. And 11 months later, after a long road trip, he ended up in Ontario, Canada. And then after that, somehow he made his way into Cobble-Skill, New York in late 2016. I actually have a photograph of the two eagles in those trees over there without a nest, picking out their home to be. And the next thing you know, he met a young lady, fell in love, got married. They've had 6 kids and more on the way.
So I guess it begs the question. It's fascinating. How do you know all of this?
I think it comes with years and years of photographing them, watching them, reading up on them, and spending the time getting out there. It's not that you're going to show up in 5 minutes, unless you're me, that they show up and they're there, but it does happen. You got to put in some time.
So, I mean, you talked about having a wife and a family and all that, but it does sound like when you're not with your family or you're not with your wife, I mean, you're spending time, observing the birds and getting to know the birds. This is more than just a hobby or a passion. This is a lifetime of work that you've put into observing these beautiful animals.
Yeah, I was photographing when I lived in South Florida. I was photographing a lot of them in Florida state parks, doing a lot there. And then I came up here, and now if you can do your passion in something you enjoy and love, then I think you're going to get better at it.
Is there anything, and we're on Facebook Live for the virtual launch of the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. We're with Bill Combs Jr., who is just an incredibly credentialed wildlife photographer. You've almost become sort of like the bald eagle expert out here. We most of us have seen them. We've seen them in pictures. Maybe we've seen them up in the treetops or in the mountains. When you have an opportunity to observe them on a daily basis, is there something about them that you know because of your experience that we may not know about the eagles, which would sort of tell people, all right, get here and observe them so you can experience this? Is there something they're going to get here on this trail that you just can't get on television or in a magazine or just looking through pictures?
Yeah, you're gonna, if you watch them long enough, you'll be able to realize that they're just like a couple. They're a married couple, and they argue. I've seen them argue. They decide on, no, I don't like that stick on that side of the nest. I'm going to move it over to this side of the nest. And I've seen the female say, I'm not telling you where my dinner is because it's my dinner. Or, I don't want this.
So you're watching them going, I can relate to that. Like, I can relate to this.
Yes, and to see their dedication to their children, like we are dedicated to our children, it's quite amazing to watch that their only job is to make sure that their young eagles grow up and survive.
It's incredible. I was I didn't actually see this BBC documentary, but I read about it. It's called something to the effect of the year that the Earth healed, or something. And basically, it was the kind of documentary that showed how wildlife and animals and our planet went through these dramatic changes in the past year during the pandemic, because there were less boats in the water. There was less pollution. There was less noise. There was less people distracting. Have you seen any changes or development in the eagle population as a result of the past year? More people spending time indoors through the pandemic?
I don't know if I really noticed, but I do. I can run across 15, 16 eagles at one time in the wintertime here at the same spot. So they do get out. And eagles have become, they're adaptive. They've adjusted to us being here. You know, this eagle nest is on Route 7 next to Walmart, and they're doing well. So as long as we give them their space and respect their areas, I think they'll do great, just like we are.
So when people come out here with their families, what can you tell them? What can they expect? Do we spend an hour out here on the trail? Do we spend 30 minutes, a couple of hours? What should people know when they come here, and what will they be able to see once they get here?
Well, the trail, you're going to pick a spot, go to the websites, find out the information you want, what area you want to be at. This time of the year, the best spots are the viewing sites where there's a nest, because there's babies in the nest, and they're constantly bringing food back and forth, and they never leave them along for too long. So they're always here. It's a great time. We've got some kayaking trips in Schoharie County that you can see some of them from the kayak. They love being on the Schoharie Creek. I think there's 5 nests on the Schoharie Creek from Gilboa all the way down to Esperance. So paddle the creek, see the eagles, and spend time. That's what I've learned, is you got to spend time watching them and watching their behaviors, and you'll be surprised.
Is there any way for you, Bill, to even put a number on how many are out here on this particular trail?
We've got 16 viewing sites. There's 10 nests that I document in Schoharie County, so that's 20 eagles. You get 2 babies born every year. So in each nest, that could be 40 new ones that migrate around. But you do have nest failures. You do have some human interaction with them. And there are a lot. Some of them we don't publicize. Some of the new nests that are out and getting established, we don't say where those are, because we want them to become established in the area that they're in.
Fascinating stuff. We're here with Bill Combs Jr. He takes amazing photos and studies these beautiful bald eagles out here as we launch the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you'll be able to bring your families out here. Should we? Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Bill, before we turn it over?
Well, we got one of the SUNY Cobleskill Dr. Michael Lacitos here. You want to come over and join us? Give us a few minutes here.
And thank you, Bill, for your expertise and your dedication. Nice to meet you. All right. How you doing, Doc? Welcome, and the floor is yours.
Appreciate that. So I'm Mike Locito. I've been at SUNY Cobleskill teaching ornithology for 27 years, and had a ball doing it. And Schoharie County is an amazing place with natural resources that abound. On my way in this morning from Delanson, crossing the bridge in Central Bridge at the Schoharie Creek was a beautiful adult male bald eagle. And I'm like, wow, look at this. It's this project is already underway. And then as I'm driving a little closer here to the Sterling Insurance on Route 7, there's a bird watcher pulled over looking at this particular nest down here. So I'm like, wow, really, really underway. But this is really, truly a remarkable project here. And from an avian conservation perspective, because what it does is it brings the public in closer proximity to eagles and into the world of eagles. And from an avian conservation perspective, you have to have buy-in. You have to have public buy-in. And we see this with recreational bird watching that has been increasing over the past, say, 4 decades. In fact, bird watching in the United States contributes about 40 billion, not million, but $billion to the economy. And committed bird watchers, we call them committed when they're really serious. A committed bird watcher will spend on average about $2,000 a year in direct and indirect costs. Direct would be something like I'm going to buy a spotting scope to watch eagles, or I'm going to buy a pair of binoculars, or a field guide to the birds. Indirect costs would be things like restaurants, gas stations, bed and breakfasts, and hotels like that. So you have to have the public buy-in. There are about 60 million bird watchers in the United States, and quite a few of them know over 100 species of birds. So it's a growing recreational activity in a big way. So there was a study at Texas A&M, for instance, in the Rio Grande Valley, and nature tourism, which is dominated by bird watching, was estimated to contribute about $300,000 to their economy. So we have to have the public buy-in, and that's what this project does. Very skillful and artful strategic locations have been identified for eagle watching. The Schoharie Economic Enterprise Corporation and Bill Coombs has done a remarkable job setting this up to make these eagles accessible, and really at these particular locations that are on the website, zero disturbance to the eagles themselves. So this is a win-win for everyone involved here. So, really then, in a nutshell, what this is going to do is allow local communities to take pride in their eagles. And when local communities take pride in their eagles, they're all the more likely to want to protect them all the more. So that's, in a nutshell, why I love this project. So, thanks, Bill.
Thank you, sir. Yes, and one of the other things I wanted to mention with the eagles is that if they really came back to where they are today because of the efforts of New York State and other entities getting involved in protecting them. Now, we do have a couple wildlife club members from SUNY. I actually gave a virtual online demonstration, photographs, and storytelling to the club last month. A couple of them volunteered to go out. I know that there was one at the Central Bridge site, and there's two babies in the nest moving around. One of the eagles is in the tree next to the nest, because now the eagles are old enough that they can regulate their own body heat, and they don't need a parent to be sitting on them. But the parent will be in the next tree over, and the reason they're on the creek is so they can see the babies and hunt at the same time, grab some food, take it up to the nest. 990V is one of our other spots. It's number 15 on our map. That's the Gilboa nest. Has been there for over 10 years, and they've got babies in the nest. And it's quite a sight just to spend the day photographing them, watching them, learning about them. And they are just like us. If you watch them long enough, you'll see that from little things that I've witnessed, that the dedication Dad puts into bringing in food. One of the things I told the kindergarten kids once was that you think an eagle learns it all or is just born into their head on what to do. But if you think about it, if the eagle's in the nest all the time and it's being brought food, it can look out its nest and see the rabbits, the squirrel, chipmunk, but it can't see a fish. And Dad brings it fish and loves fish. The baby becomes old enough, they fly out in about 16 weeks. Sitting at the Cobleskill Reservoir with Dad, saying, "Dad, I love fish." He goes, "But I can't see and find a fish anywhere." Then Dad takes off, dives in the water, comes back up with a fish, brings it to the tree. Son looks over and says, "Now you tell me they're in the water?" You know? So, yeah. And one of the things a lot of people don't understand when I tell them that is that baby eagle never drinks water. It's in a nest for probably 16, 17, 18 weeks before it ever gets a drink of water. So all of its moisture comes from the blood and the meat from the animal, the moisture. And they are full size, as big as their parents in 9 weeks from being born. Full size. They're as big as their parents in 9 weeks. So that's a lot.
Well, I have a couple of follow-up questions, if that's okay. We're with Bill Combs Jr. here at the virtual launch of the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. I think that you addressed this, but I think that, you know, we live in a great time, obviously, with this booming sort of population. Is there something that you can attribute the growth and the reason why we have so many of these wonderful bald eagles out here in Schoharie County?
Well, I do know back in the early 70s, there was one nesting pair in the whole state of New York, and they weren't viable, which means they weren't producing babies because of the DEET would make the eggshell soft break the eggs, no eagles produced. So they went out and captured some eagles and brought them back and started it back up to now. I think one of the Jefferson nests that we just found is New York State 508. So 508 nest in the air in New York, the state of New York. So if we leave them alone and watch what we do, they'll survive just like we do.
And finally, before we get to the names of the top finalists for the names of the beautiful couple here and then the eventual winner, when people come here, if you're watching this now on Facebook Live, if you want to plan an afternoon or a day here, I mean, we'll obviously need to bring some binoculars. I mean, will we be able to capture some images with our cell phone just by zooming in? What do you recommend people do when they get here so that they can have the best viewing?
Definitely a good pair of binoculars, a camera if you want, a spotting scope, patience to make sure that you spend in the time to get the photographs, and also through the Schoharie County Eagle Trail, I am going to be offering guided tours for a half day, full day through the trail. There will be contact information in there. Contact us. You can book a half a day, a whole day with us, and I'll take you out storytelling facts of eagles in the best spots to be.
How close do you physically get?
I don't. Most of the time I'm 500 feet. Most of the time 1,000 feet away from a nest, 1,500 feet away from a nest. You don't have to get that close to enjoy them.
Have you ever encountered one where they thought maybe you were getting too close? Have you ever seen one get frustrated or angry or look at you like, take another step closer, big guy, and we're going to have some issues?
The Cobleskill eagles, because of the reservoir, are very accustomed to people, and they're not afraid of humans anymore when they're there. So that becomes an issue sometimes when people feeding them. You're not supposed to feed an eagle. No matter how much you want to feed the eagle, you're teaching it doesn't have to hunt for its food. So I've never gotten that close. Yes, do I open my car door up? My wife will say, he's going to fly off. I open the car door, he flies off.
I could sit and talk to you all day, and I do think that many people from the area are going to take you up on the guided tours through this incredible thing that we have out here in Schoharie County. Great job. It's a pleasure talking to you, Bill. Thank you very, very much. Yes, final thought?
Is there anything going on with that nest now that you want to say?
I'm ready to go take a look. Absolutely. Babies. We got the babies. They hatched. This is amazing. Yesterday they hatched.
Babies hatched yesterday. I could tell that by their behavior in the nest.
Incredible. All right. Well, let's get to the naming, because we had a lot of people months ago when I had seen that we were going to be naming this couple. I think it was a News 10 ABC story. I wrote about it for WGNA. And sort of encourage some people to make their own name suggestions for the nesting lovebirds. And we got a ton of different options. And we're going to go ahead and read off the winners. Well, there's one winner, but here are our finalists. So third place, the names Liberty and Justice. Those were our third place choices. Second place, Jack and Diane, very cute. Second place. And the winners, we are going to officially be naming these beautiful nesting birds, these lovebirds, John Jacob and Anna Maria. So John Jacob, Anna Maria. So congratulations to everybody who voted.
Now, why did we name them that?
They settled Cobleskill, John Jacob and Anna Maria. Wow, look at those birds behind us. They're gorgeous. Turkey vultures. Okay, so I'm learning as we go. I was like, turn the camera around. We got a bunch of eagles. Turkey vultures. Boy, they're big. Are they roughly the same size?
Yes.
They are? So we're going to take questions now from Facebook. And my guess is we're going to have to bring Bill Combs Jr. back up here for this. I could probably talk my way through it, but I'm not sure how informed I am. Okay. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, we'll give it a minute.
So, would you like to know how to tell the difference between a bald eagle and a turkey vulture in the sky?
Bald eagle, turkey vulture in the sky, what's the difference?
An eagle is a flat soar. So when you're looking at the turkey vultures, see the wings up curved a little bit in a V, like this? That's a turkey vulture. Flat out, eagle. That's a fast.
See, I look at these turkey vultures and I'm like, they're flat out right now, but they're not.
Upturned a little bit.
Yeah. Are they? Would they be roughly the same size? Are they roughly the same size? They are. Do they? Behaviorally, are they similar?
No. They eat dead animals. They don't hunt for it.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
We have a question from Facebook.
Yes, we have a question. Susan Canfield said why those names, but you just answered that.
So, yep, Susan Canfield wanted to know why they were named what they named. It's because
Yep.
those were the folks that settled Schoharie.
How do you tell the difference between a male and female eagle?
How do you tell the difference between a male and female?
The only way to really tell the difference between a male and female eagle is when they're a mating pair. They have to be together, and you know that they are a mating pair. The female is always about 25% larger than the male. That's how you can tell.
Judith Scanlon asks, where are the nests?
Judith wants to know, where are the nests?
Well, we have a map. That's the best way to do it. One is in Cobleskill. The most publicized one that everyone knows about is in the field next to Walmart. There's one at Central Bridge, one in Middleburg, one in Seward, one in Gilboa, a couple at Minekill State Park. For me to give you exact locations is really tough. That's why we did the map, so it gives you a little better idea of how. And you can always send us messages asking us, I'm having trouble finding us. I'm going out tomorrow. Can you give me some better hints? And we normally respond pretty quick.
So Cora is asking Bill where his favorite spot for viewing is.
Bill, where's your favorite spot for viewing?
Favorite spot for viewing the eagles is normally the Cobleskill Reservoir because you get to see them in action, hunting, fishing, and they've gotten so accustomed to people that they can be in a tree. And there'll be, hate to say it, doctor, there'll be wildlife students there fishing and see my camera and go, what are you taking pictures of? And I'd say, turn around, look up. Oh, that's a bald eagle. I said, yeah, how long has it been there? Oh, the past half hour you've been here. But yeah, you have to stop what you're doing, pay attention, and look.
I feel like you're going to be the busiest man in all of Schoharie County after this. Because I feel like people are going to be like, well, we can't go there without Bill Combs Jr.
Well, when they do go, I have the equipment. So you don't need a pair of binoculars. I have them. I have a spotting scope. I also have a spare professional series camera that you'd be able to take pictures with and take the memory card home with you. And they're your pictures to do with what you want.
That's awesome. That's
We're
beautiful.
going to take one more question.
All right, we have one more question from our Facebook audience.
Donna is asking, is there a best time of the day to photograph the eagles?
Donna's question, is there a best time of the day to photograph or view the eagles?
I always find it better in the early morning, 7 to 10, and then later in the afternoon. The middle of the day is really hot. It's heat, and they've already done their morning hunt. They got breakfast. Then they got to get their dinner. But right now with baby season, they're hunting and fishing all day long.
Great.
Okay.
And yes, one more?
Yeah, I guess we have one more.
Okay.
Peggy's asking, are there eagles the same that were nesting in SUNY Cobleskill?
Are the eagles the same that were nesting at SUNY Cobleskill?
Well, I have a theory, and it's really hard to prove. There was a pair of eagles in SUNY Cobleskill in 2015 that they actually went up and banded them, the baby. But a storm came along, blew the tree out. A few months later, a bald eagle was killed by a Schoharie County school bus on I-88. And then they never rebuilt in that area. And the next year, all of a sudden, there's two eagles looking at this site and building a nest here. So to me, I believe that this female was the female from the Cobleskill nest and found a new mate and started the area here. Because once an eagle has a devastation to their nest like that, they won't really normally build in the same tree. They like the area, so they'll stick around.
Outstanding. Well, it was, again, thank you so much for your information, your knowledge, and your time. That's Bill Combs Jr. And by the way, your photography is incredible. The photos that you have, the way that you have captured these eagles, the stories that they tell, just brilliant stuff. And I hope that people find your work, and they will because of this. So awesome. And we'll see you around. Thank you very much. Okay, that's Bill Combs Jr. Thank you guys for watching. I think that is a wrap on our official opening here on Facebook. Thank you guys for the questions. We want to thank all the dignitaries and folks that came out. Julie Perchetti, thank you very much. Steve Harris, Officer Burgess, thank you for your work. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your time. We really do appreciate it. Dr. Michael Lucido, and everybody else involved. Leanne, who's been very instrumental as far as getting me on board. And on behalf of WGNA, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for watching. Get more information, and we'll see you out here on the Schoharie County Eagle Trail. Thanks, guys. Let's go check out some eagles.